Awful pretty out this morning. There's a live view of Saturn. I'm gonna go get my creaky chair. There we go. Well, look at that. Got a shadow on the rings on the upper left-hand side. There we go, that's good. Now just let it creep across the page. There we go. Lovely, lovely. Saturn is made up of mostly hydrogen and helium. If we had a bathtub or an ocean large enough, it would float. It's actually lighter than water. That little dot just below it that keeps blinking in and out, that's actually Titan Moon. Just us and the Tweety birds this morning. A couple of crickets hanging out. And those pesky squirrels that keep eating my iris rhizomes. Dan, that's not going to be acceptable here. Hello, OG Game. Good morning, Lily. We have our lovely view of Saturn this morning. Live to you from Columbus, Ohio, using a Dobsonian 10 telescope. You're peering through a 4mm lens, and I've actually got it cranked up a little bit so that way it's a little bit closer in view. Got some ring gap going in so you can actually see the gap in between the rings and the planet. Let's see if I can boost this up just a little bit. Now all this movement that you see right now as it gradually glides across our view, that is all due to Earth's rotation. So I'm constantly having to move the telescope ever so slightly in order to keep up with our rotation. Hello, Seattle. It's a lovely, crisp little morning. Got some clear views here in Columbus, Ohio after hours of clouds all night. And it's just us, Saturn, somebody walking the dog, and Titan Moon blinking in and out at the bottom. Hello, Seattle. This is a Dobsonian 10 telescope, and you're looking through a 4mm lens. And I'm recording this using a Galaxy Samsung A15 phone. We've got a little bit of smoke going on this morning, so it's not as crisp as I like it, but it will work. Oh, and I'm also using a 0.9 filter just to drop the exposure down just a little bit so that way we can get a little bit more detail on the rings. That's also the reason why Titan keeps blinking in and out. Good morning, Universal, and good morning, Heather. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are having a great morning. It wasn't too bad. In fact, the base telescope itself was about $1,000, but really what gets you is your glass. So all of my lenses, I've probably got about maybe $3,500, $4,000 invested in the glassware. But the nice thing is that once you purchase it, as long as you're taking really good care of your equipment, it lasts for a really, really, really long time. Man, that's beautiful. Now, mind you that our view of Saturn is flipped backwards and upside down, and that is due to the mirrors that I have inside of my telescope. So it flips our view. So what is up at the top is actually the bottom of Saturn, or the southern portion of Saturn. And what's at the bottom of your view is actually the north side of Saturn. And for the next 7 and some odd years, we'll be viewing the southern portion of Saturn. Due to our angle and its angle as it goes around the sun, we actually get differing views concerning the 27-degree tilt that Saturn has. So sometimes when it goes around the sun, we see the top part of the sun, the top part of Saturn for 7 and some odd years, and then the rest of the time we end up seeing the bottom side or the southern side. So sometimes we're seeing the north, and sometimes we're seeing the south, and it goes about every 7.5 to 8 years. And this just recently flipped. Now that little tiny dot that you see off to the lower left-hand side, that is Titan Moon. And Titan Moon is actually bigger than Mercury planet. That is gorgeous. Look at that. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Tweety birds are waking up. Now it's going to move across that view really, really quick now. But you can actually see the shadow of the planet against the rings. Get it to go past again on the upper left-hand side. Do you guys see that? Do you guys see the shadow of the planet against the rings? There you go. Yeah. There we go. Now, if we had an ocean big enough to hold Saturn, it would float. It is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium. The rings around Saturn are mostly dust and ice particles. Saturn is our ring giant. It has over 250 moons. I think it's 274, but I could be mistaken on that number. I'll double check it here in a minute. Might be 272 or 274. It's a bit late in the morning for me. I've been up all night working on presentations. I volunteer on the weekends for a local astronomy park. So at night while you guys are sleeping, I'm up burning the midnight oil, catching views, and writing. All right, we've seen the moon for a little bit. We've seen Saturn for a little. Let's go check out the moon here. Oh, there's a lovely view of Fra Mauro. That is where Apollo 14 landed. All right. So look for the Mickey Mouse. It's two small craters with a larger one at the bottom. So look for that Mickey Mouse. It's coming up. Oh, a little low. Here we go again. Okay, so the Mickey's going through the comment section. Let's bump it up one more time. I'm still low. This should be better. little too high. So now do you guys see the ears? It's kind of in the center. At the base where his bow tie would be, that is where Apollo 14 landed. There's Billy Aldous crater. Here's Gassendi. Looks like a large ring. Above Gassendi, that is the Sea of Moisture. Don't yeet the moon. So that large crater that's at the bottom, just on the very, very edge of the terminator, that is Plato crater. And now we're going over the Sea of Rains, also known as the Sea of Showers. That sea that you're looking at, that backward sea, that is the Bay of Rainbows. That bright one that looks like a teardrop up at the top, that is Aristarchus crater. Aristarchus is 1.7 miles deep. There is large Copernicus coming down in towards the comment section. Just above it, there's Reinhold, and then above Reinhold, that is Langrenus crater. Patatas crater, and then Billy Aldous. Billy Aldous is located in the Sea of Clouds. Right there on the very edge, that large one that's got those smaller craters on the inside, that is Clavius crater. And it is one of the few craters that you can actually see with the naked eye if you've got really good eyesight looking up at the moon. Nah! Don't eat the moon. So this one that's coming down in towards the center, it looks like almost like a perfect circle that's really, really dark. That is Tycho crater, named for Tycho Brahe. He was an astronomer from the 16th century. Quite the interesting chap. If you like a good funny story about people from the history, go check out Tycho Brahe. Tychobrahe. Tycho Brahe. He was a Danish astronomer. This is the Southern Highlands It is known for being pockmarked full of all kinds of craters. This other dark one that is coming in towards the center of our view, that looks like another perfect circle, that is Eratosthenes crater. Just above it is Copernicus crater. Below Copernicus crater, you'll have another group of mountains. Those are the Carpathian Mountains. This bright one that has all the ejecta lines from it, that is Kepler crater. This really dark one that's on the upper right-hand side, that is Grimaldi crater. This whole entire dark area that you're looking at on the lower left-hand side, that is the Ocean of Storms. Now we're looking at the Sea of Clouds coming over into the center. The top of the Sea of Clouds in our view, that is Patatus. Now that one that looks like a bullseye, that is Billy Aldous. Now we're flying over the Marsh of Diseases. That's some really weird names that they name stuff on the moon. Quite the morose group who named things. Yeah, we're dialed in pretty close. This is using a 4mm lens, and all that movement that you're seeing right now, all of that is due to Earth's rotation. That's how fast we're rotating. Kind of cool, isn't it? It's a lovely crisp view, the northern portion of the moon. Now your view is actually flipped upside down and backwards. So if you were to look up at the moon, everything that's at the bottom for us is actually at the top. And that's due to the mirrors that we have in my telescope. You're looking at this through a Dobsonian 10 telescope using a 4mm lens. Live to you from Columbus, Ohio. Hey Clip, do you want to see Saturn before it disappears in the morning sky? Let's take you back to Saturn. Let's see Saturn real quick. There you are. Here's Saturn. There we go. Yeah, I'm actually using a 0.9 filter, so that way it's giving you the view of the rings and the shadow from the rings, but just bright enough to allow you to see that teeny tiny little dot just below Saturn. It keeps blinking in and out. That's Titan Moon. See that tiny little dot that's blinking in and out just below Saturn in our view? That's Titan Moon. Ah, don't eat it too far, Nicole. There we go. And you can actually also see a little bit of the shadow of Saturn against the rings on that far side of the ring on the upper left-hand side. Do you see that? Makes it look like the ring just disappears. Saturn is made up mostly of hydrogen and helium. It's actually lighter than water. If we had a bathtub or an ocean big enough, it would float. But that would be a mighty tall order. Hey Nebula, how you doing, my friend? It is early, early morning here in Columbus. I've been up burning the midnight oil, writing on presentations all night long, so I figured I'd come out here and get a live view in before I go in and go to bed. Are you having a good time? How's your views doing? I've been really impressed with your ability to make this telescope. Quite the accomplishment. Quite the accomplishment. Bravo. Everybody's getting ready to get up and go to work. I've got a few neighbors out here that are walking their dogs, looking at me like, there's that crazy neighbor with her telescope again. That woman is obsessed. Yes, yes. This is using a 4mm lens, and I also have a 0.9 filter, moon filter, just to drop the exposure down for the live view. Normally the exposure for the live view is so bright that it just washes away any type of detail on the surface of the planet, and you can't really see the rings going across. It just looks like one big blurry mess. So if I use that 0.9 moon filter, it drops it down just enough to where you can actually see some detail on the planet. You can make out the ring gap and all that really well. Keep having to adjust a little bit. Now all this movement that you're seeing going across the view of your screen, that is all due to Earth's rotation. So I don't have an automatic tracker. It's not motorized. So I'm constantly having to go back in and move that telescope ever so slightly just to keep it in view. Nice. Nice. Yeah, those moon filters, I don't like the darker ones. I don't like the ones that go up to like 1.2 and 3. They just tend to, they create a lot of, it looks like static on the view. And I think I lost, there you are. It just creates a, it just makes it look blurry. But the 0.9 and the 0.6, it cleans it up just enough for live views, but it doesn't cause me to lose a lot of detail. Well, I did do lives on TikTok for, oh, I don't know, maybe a year and a half. So I got kind of used to working the telescope and keeping things in line. And believe you me, it can be a little bit cantankerous every once in a while. Speaking of which, I'm going to be cantankerous if I don't go get something to drink. I can barely talk. Hold on just 1 second. Ah! All right. Let's hope I can make it back in time. Of course you're out. Wouldn't you be? Oh, she's cutting it close. Not that far, you Egypt. There we go. Get this citronella going. Skeeters are gonna have me for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Trying to catch satellites, you have a better chance of just holding your telescope in one area and just waiting for stuff to fly by, since there's so many of them now. I would still like to catch the ISS going across the moon, but that is few and far between. Tweety birds are all waking up. Can you guys hear them in the background? Man, that's just crispy. I really wasn't expecting it to be that crisp this morning. We've got quite a bit of smoke moving in from the wildfires. But that is a gorgeous view this morning. Beautiful. Keep having to adjust it down just a little bit because it keeps climbing in the sky. Now the top view, mind you, is the southern portion of Saturn, because my mirrors flip everything upside down and backwards. Not that far. There we go. It's persnickety. It's like trying to, well, it is literally trying to keep the center of a 10-inch barrel telescope on a teeny tiny little dot. In the very, very center. Did I lose it? No, I didn't. Okay, there it is. Saturn is starting to rise now at about 11 o'clock at night, and it's going to continue to rise a little bit earlier every single night. Jupiter's also coming up early in the mornings now, but it's still a little bit too far down on the horizon for me to see. It's not quite over my neighbor's rooftops just yet. It's really close to the sun still. It just went around and behind the sun. So it'll be another couple of weeks before we get any early morning views of Jupiter. Don't yeet the planet. Dagnabbit, I lost it. Hold on. That should be it. Should be. It's not, of course. Might have to take it down just a little bit. Yeah, there it is. Gotta find it first. Now let it fly across. Here we go. One of these really crisp mornings this winter, I'll try and put in the 2.5. See how close we can actually get this thing. I haven't used the 2.5 for live views before. Mercury, it is still really close to the sun, and it has not risen high enough for me to be able to view it over the tops of the neighbors' roofs, unfortunately. My dude, you're awful chattery this morning. Tweety bird. He's in this tree right beside me. Beautiful view. There we go. Sometimes it helps just to kind of wiggle the telescope a little bit to get it to go down without yeeting the planet. Yeah, once it gets past its apex, it becomes a little bit persnickety trying to keep up with it as it falls. Man, that's a beautiful view, though. There's Titan going across the top of our comment section. And then at the very top above that is Saturn. Just beautiful. Do it again. Do it again. Don't lose it. A lot of people thought I was crazy for just getting a manual and not something that was motorized, but personally I kind of like tracking. It's challenging. Sorry, I yeeted. There we go. This will be a good pass. Oh, that's nice. Notice it's climbing just a little bit every time I move it over. Yes, it is. It is way out there. Saturn is about 5.7 or 5.9 astronomical units away from us. What is an astronomical unit? That is the mean or the average distance between us and the sun, which is 93.1 million miles. Give myself a mini break with it being blown up. It's actually a little bit crispier the smaller that it is. You can really see that shadow across the rings along the upper left-hand side. Can you see the shadow from the planet on the rings? Looks like there's a gap up there. All right, my friend, it is time for me to say good night, or I guess good morning to, the rest of the world. I'm going to bed. But I hope you have a great day. Take care of yourself. Thanks for stopping in. Our lovely view of Saturn, live from Columbus, Ohio, using a Dobsonian telescope. I'll show you what you've been looking through this morning before I close out. So there's my telescope. Clip, I hope you have a great day. You take care of yourself. Get some good Z's. Take care.